Oh, we love Nigel Farage. The only place you're going to see him on Aussie telly, certainly regularly, is here, Paul Murray Live, every single Tuesday night. I'm telling you, all killer, no filler. And the great man, the leader of reform, joins us now from mighty old England. Great man, lovely to see you. The waft of freedom that is moving across the Western world, it looks like it is up and under the wings of reform at the moment. 5 million votes, but because of the system, only 5 seats in the parliament. Latest polling in and around seats would put you above the Conservatives and even above Labor, mate. This is an incredible start to a movement that is only going to get stronger, mate.
Yeah, nothing like this has happened since 1918, which was when the Labour Party, after the First World War, began to replace the Liberal Party. Not for 100 years has an insurgency movement come through and topped a national opinion poll. And all of this in the space of 7 months. So, yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I did wonder whether it was worth my coming out of political retirement, but at the moment, we're on a bit of a roll.
I saw an interview with you earlier today and somebody's talking about the polls, and then they try that little media trick, right? Oh, and clearly you're being overly confident because the polls, and then your retort in that interview was to say, hang on, you're the one talking about the polls. I like this because it's one thing to be confident, it's one thing to feel like you're on a roll, but also, you know, polls are great, but it's really like wrestling smoke. That's what's really important. And what would your lesson be to say people who like the cut of your jib, like the type of politics that you put forward in a place like Australia, where, OK, the polls might show that, you know, the majority of people think there's going to be a change in government. A poll is one thing, reality is another. You've got to pick the target and ram, right?
Yes, and you've got to spread optimism. This is the thing. Our politics has become so negative. Our politicians have all become sort of boring, dull, humourless careerists. And look at what Trump did. Look at what Trump has just done. What was the vision? We are going to make America great again. We're going to make America healthy again. We're going to make America strong again. It's all about big, buzzy, optimistic messages. It isn't just about policy. It's about vibe. And I think all of us living in the Western world know that we've been living in serious social decline. The values upon which our entire civilization has been built have been seriously threatened. The hard left have gone through the educational establishment and much of mainstream media. Conservatives have been wishy-washy and wet. So vibe is really, really important. That's how Trump won, and that's why we're winning at the moment in the opinion polls. And if you come to a reform meeting, I mean, it's like a rock concert. They're all cheering, they're all happy. Optimism is what people need.
Yeah, and also, you know, detractors, you know, remember, because you seek to disrupt the comfortable way that they have built their little world around them, they come with every little angle. But something that I think that is starting to spread across the world is that there's a very significant group of people who are not falling for the old tricks of how you demonise the disruptor. And again, the free advice to the Australian politicians here, I'm not talking about, hey, let's all out-Trump each other, let's, you know, the one with the strongest memes wins. That sense of optimism and the idea that you're not ashamed to vote this, you're not a secret closet this, you are somebody who is actively wanting the best and most positive outcome for their country. And to be honest, the left doesn't know how to handle it. Because the only way they know how to come up against a person like you is to say, oh, well, but what about this thing he said 2 days ago? Insert group is offended by. Who cares? Or as you said, boring.
Boring. Absolutely. Look, there's a big change going on. We've reached peak woke. We've reached the end, I think, of the extremes of council culture. Do you know, it was the morning of the election on the 5th of November, and I was in Pennsylvania, outside Scranton, Joe Biden's hometown, and I was outside a polling station. I said to a woman, what do you think? She said, it's really funny, you know, but a lot more people have got Trump signs on the lawn than I've ever seen before. People aren't afraid to say they support Trump now. That's what's happening across the West. And as you say, the abuse that gets thrown from the left, we're all homophobes, transphobes, I mean, any kind of phobe you can think of. We've got to the point, no one cares.
Yeah, it's a wonderful feeling. May it last for as long as possible. May, you know, the early signs become the genuine revolution. A perfect example about something that is surging, the support for reform, is absolute clarity, right? A country doesn't exist unless it has a border, and if you let somebody wander over the border at their choice, not yours, then you're in a world of pain. what's this? 150,000 illegal migrants have come across the channel since 2018. That is madness, and I just love that they pretend, oh, there's no way we can possibly respond to this. Rubbish.
Well, Tony Abbott sorted it out in Australia back in 2012, and I just love the planes heading to Colombia and the Colombian president throwing a real big hissy fit and then backing down. Donald has showed us the way. We're all open to immigration, provided people come legally, don't have criminal records, pay for themselves. That's fine. But anyone crossing your borders illegally should not be allowed to stay. And we have had such weakness from Conservative and Labour governments. Let me promise you, if we get a reform government, the deportations will begin and the boats will stop coming.
Is there the correlation between certain sections of illegal migration going on to commit further crimes? Is this something that is popping up in the news? Because the daily examples of it, from Lake and Riley, the murder of Lake and Riley in the United States, it helped crystallise the problem, right? And again, this sort of lefty Jedi mind trick, oh, it's all migration. No, it's not. It's illegal migration. Are there examples of crimes that are taking place after people enter the country illegally?
Yes, more and more. It's been very difficult to talk about because as soon as you do, suddenly, you're put into the racist category. Yeah. But yes, evidence is mounting of those that have entered Britain illegally, committed absolutely heinous crimes. And I would say that in France, where the problem is worse than it is in Britain because of the sheer number that have been allowed to cross the Mediterranean and stay, the reason Marine Le Pen is favourite to win the next French presidential election in 2027 is the dots have been joined in France between illegal immigration and serious crime. And I think this is going to happen across the whole of Europe. And remember, in some cases with these crimes, you've got young men coming from countries in which women aren't even treated as second-class citizens. So the rise, especially in sexual crime, is something people are really, really waking up to.